4 goals in the second period, the first 3 on the power play. Gradin and Boulder for Vancouver, Bossy for the Islanders, and then the tiebreaker to put Vancouver in front by a goal, Lars Lindgren in the final minute of the first period. Well, penalties are proving very important in this series in terms of power play goals, and in the case of the Islanders, goal in the first period, shorthanded goals. And when talking of special teams, Bob Bourne is the perfect Islander to speak to the subject because he kills penalties and he also plays on the power play. I would have thought that with so many goals being scored with a man in the penalty box for either side, that the Islanders would get a big advantage. It hasn't been happening because the Canucks have been scoring on the power play as well.
Yes, they have, Dave. We're a little bit disappointed in our penalty killing. We had a real good percentage against the Rangers in the quarterfinals. Not so good against Quebec, but we shut them down when we had to, and we've got to start doing it against Vancouver.
You know, they say that the second Stanley Cup's tougher to win than the first. In your case, it really wasn't that way. What about the third?
It's been tough. Of course, the Pittsburgh series really scared us, and I think it took a lot out of us. It's been tough all the way through. Quebec, it was a pretty good series, too. It was a tough series, but even though we did win in the fourth, it's been scary.
Is this team showing you things that perhaps you didn't expect, or maybe strength in certain areas that you weren't quite prepared for?
Well, I really didn't think they had the power play, as we were talking before. Quebec, we really worked on their power play, and we shut that down, but Vancouver's power play is really proving to be something that we hadn't reckoned for.
Well, in the regular season, it wasn't very good. Let's face it, but the coaches have done some things. There's a different coach behind the bench now. You remember Roger Nielsen, of course, from 1978, and you don't remember him too fondly, and you've been quoted at some length about the way the Islanders must prepare to prevent a recurrence of that upset.
Yeah, he's kind of been a thorn in my side. I mean, he only coached that 1 year against us, but he beat us in a fashion that I didn't really think was the right way to play the game. And tonight's a little better game than the first game, but he's obviously a good coach. He's doing what he has to do to win out there with the players he has, and I guess you have to admire that, but I still don't like the way to play the game that way.
Earlier in these playoffs, I talked about to Brian Trottier about the various left wingers he and Mike Bossy have played with, and now you're the one, and he said all 3 of you have done a marvelous job, but I assume you like it this way, don't you?
I prefer it this way, especially during the playoffs. I get to play an awful lot. During the regular season, John Stanley and Clark were playing so darn well, it just seemed to me that I didn't get a lot of ice time with them, and I'm in there all the time now, and I really like it that way. Well,
you're the second leading goal scorer in the playoffs, and being second to Mike Bossy is almost like being first anywhere else, so keep it going.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Bob Bourne of the New York Islanders, whose great play set up the first goal of this game. The Islanders have added 1 since, but the Canucks had 3 in that second period, and coming up next, Bobby Orr's Hockey Legends with tonight's guest, the former general manager of the Montreal Canadiens, Sam Pollock. Hockey Night in Canada continues in just a moment.